everyone. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to learn a little more about Western Michigan University and the specialty program in alcohol and drug abuse. I'm Jenifer Craig, and I'm a student service specialist for Western Michigan's regional and online programs. I'm here as a resource and expert on the Western Michigan admissions process and student services available to you as an online or regional student. I'm based at our Metro Detroit regional location, but I work with students from all over Michigan and well beyond. With me today is the program director and associate professor for the specialty program in alcohol and drug abuse, or SPADA as we'll refer to it throughout the session, Dr. Tiffany Lee. I'll let her introduce herself and tell you a bit more about her background.
Thank you, Jenifer, and good afternoon, everyone. As Jenifer said, I'm the Program Director and Associate Professor for SPADA at Western Michigan University. I earned my PhD in Counselor Education from WMU in addition to my Master's in Community Counseling from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and my Bachelor's degree in Psychology from the University of Florida. I have experience working as an addictions counselor, a court advocate, and a child protective services investigator. My research includes addiction counseling in counselor education, diversity aspects in treatment, and alcohol use by college students. In our information session today, we'll provide you with a brief overview of Western Michigan University and then take some time to dive deep into the SPADA Graduate Certificate, including the program history, admissions information, and an overview of the curriculum. We will also discuss some information about online and regional education at WMU and the resources available to you beyond main campus. After that, we'll give you ample time to ask any questions you have, which we'll be happy to answer for you. Jenifer will kick us off with some background about WMU and SPADA.
We want to start off by telling you a bit about Western Michigan University, so you can know more about our rich history and what sets our university apart from others. Western Michigan University was founded in 1903 as the Western Normal School, offering teacher training programs in the beginning, but now growing to offer more than 160 undergraduate degree options and more than 100 graduate programs. Over the past 110 plus years, Western Michigan has grown into 22,562 students currently enrolled and 250,000 alumni worldwide. You have a large global network available to you as soon as you become part of WMU. On top of that, Western is a designated Carnegie Research Institution at the high research activity level, on par with schools like Ball State University, Kent State University, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and Marquette University, providing you with a world-class level of instruction. Additionally, Western has been ranked in the top 100 list by the Military Times for the best schools for veterans, the only school in Michigan to have been on this list for all 9 years it's been published. If you want to learn more about what makes Western Michigan a top choice, visit our facts webpage to see a collection of achievements that helps us stand out. Western Michigan has been offering curriculum in the area of addictions since 1973. Giving the university more than 45 years of research and expertise in the area. The SPADA program was the first of its kind in Michigan and was also the first university-based training clinic in the area of substance abuse in the state. The program started on main campus in Kalamazoo, but has since expanded to regional locations in Grand Rapids and Traverse City, as well as online. At WMU Grand Rapids, SPADA courses are at the downtown location. This location has an on-site clinic, computer labs, study areas, and on-site staff during regular business hours and during class time to help you whenever you need support. Our WMU Traverse City location is a part of the Northwestern Michigan College University Center. We have WMU staff on-site during business hours and by appointment after hours. There's free on-site parking, and our students have access to additional student services through NMC for an additional fee. And of course, WMU Online is wherever you are. Our online e-learning system has support available 24/7 in case you experience any issues. With the regional or online program, you'll also have a dedicated student engagement point of contact who can help you find additional services and resources when you need them. So with all of this in mind, I'll let Dr. Lee tell you everything else you need to know about SPADA.
SPADA is instructed by 2 full-time faculty, myself and Dr. Dennis Simpson, who was the program director for SPADA for 41 years. Additional faculty are part-time instructors, most of whom have a decade of experience and doctoral degrees in health-related fields. Most are actually clinical directors, which helps bridge your curriculum with real-world application. As this is a graduate program, a bachelor's degree is required for admission. We do not require your bachelor's degree to be in any specific area, but many of our students come from health-related fields. As part of the admissions process, you will need to apply and be offered admission into the graduate college at WMU, which means you need to meet their minimum requirements for GPA. The GRE is not required for admission. We admit 80 to 90 students each year, which is about 90% of our applicants. There is no hard application deadline, and you can begin at the start of any semester, spring, summer, or fall. It does take a couple weeks to review and process applications, and I'm the person who actually reviews and processes these applications. The earliest you can start would be Summer 1, 2019, which begins in a few weeks. You should submit your application as soon as possible if you want to begin during the first summer session. Summer 2 starts at the end of June, so I recommend getting your complete application submitted by June 1st if you want to start Summer 2. For Fall 2019, the latest we recommend you submit your full application is August 1, and for Spring 2020, apply by December 1st. Beyond that, visit wmich.edu/registrar/calendars/academic to see further or future semester start dates. You do not need to meet with your advisor before you apply, but if you want to, the advisor for SPADA is Sheena Bolton, and she'd be happy to answer any questions you have before applying. You can also contact me or Jenifer as well with any questions. Our contact information will be on our last slide, and we'll send it out in an email after this session as well. The SPADA graduate certificate requires a total of 24 credit hours, 3 of which are completed during your practicum. This amounts to 7 total courses listed on this slide. None of these courses have any prerequisites. All courses are available on main campus, at WMU Grand Rapids, at WMU Traverse City, and online. So you can pick locations and formats that work best for you and fit with your schedule. Courses are available in traditional formats as well as hybrid, where you complete most of your coursework online and then meet in person just a few times throughout the semester. Typically, this is 2 weekends each semester. The other course format option is fully online. You can complete the program entirely online except for the practicum portion, or take a combination of in-person and online courses. Our student body is primarily made up of 3 groups. We have students that enroll in this program post-bachelor's degree. Most often, they want to obtain the SPADA certificate to help them complete the education requirements for the CADC credential and become more marketable. We also have students returning after their master's degree. They've been out in the field and realized that completing the SPADA certificate is a great way to get the education requirements for the CADC credential. As you may know, in the state of Michigan, in order to get reimbursed for addiction services by different entities, a person must have the CAADC. Therefore, these folks need to get the education requirements fulfilled for the CAADC, and the SPADA courses count towards these 186 hours. Lastly, the third group consists of students that are dual enrolled in a master's or doctoral program and wish to take SPADA courses. Some take courses in order to attain more knowledge and then end up taking the whole certificate program, which again helps them complete the CAADC education hours. We mostly see enrollment from counselor education and counseling psychology students and social work students. That being said, I would like to point out that the SPADA courses can be used to fulfill the elective requirements for these master's and doctoral programs. Also, these students can use their SPADA practicum experience to count towards their internship hours in other master's programs. The bonus of this is that students will only have to pay for 1 credit hour instead of 3 credit hour course during that time. Please keep in mind that you have to get this approved by both advisors, but it's a great way to save money and gain the experience you need for both programs. Full course descriptions are available online at wmich.edu/SPADA-info. The SPADA courses are often offered on a rotation, but all courses are offered over a span of a year and can be taken in any order, so you can complete the program in 12 months. The chart shown here is also available at wmich.edu/SPADA-info. You can take fewer courses at a time if you need to. You just have to take one course each year to be considered active, and you must finish all coursework within 6 years, which is a WMU graduate college requirement. There is a field practicum that must be completed before you finish your SPADA certificate. It requires a total of 360 hours, and there are 3 track options: prevention, treatment, and administrative. 180 of these hours must be direct client contact, and you cannot start the practicum until you've completed 4 SPADA courses. Typically, it takes students 2 semesters to get all the hours. Students often do this over the summer, and we recommend doing your practicum in a licensed facility, especially if you're planning on earning the CADC or the CAADC credential for the state of Michigan. If you currently work in a clinic, you cannot use any paid duties towards this requirement. You can do your hours there as long as you're not doing the same work you do while you're working and getting paid. We have dedicated field practicum coordinators to help you find placements if you need help. We also have a link on our website that directs you to a list of licensed substance abuse facilities in Michigan. If you're doing SPADA online and live outside of Michigan, we have an additional form you have to complete, but otherwise it's the same requirements. You can and we will still help you find a placement if you need assistance. So I want to take a moment and acknowledge that if you're making a decision to invest in furthering your education, you want to know what your return on investment is going to be. About 95% of our students who completed SPADA during last year reported being actively engaged within 3 months of graduation, which means almost all of our SPADA certificate recipients were employed or continuing their education after finishing the program. You can feel confident that making this investment will help in your future. Earning this graduate certificate in alcohol and drug abuse can open a lot of employment opportunities in clinical work, some of which may also require a master's degree, but there's also a lot of opportunities for addiction counseling and casework without a master's. The field of addiction counseling continues to grow at a much faster rate than normal. In 2016, the Bureau of Labor Statistics projected it to grow by 23% by 2026. Here's a sample of job titles and employers of recent SPADA students. SPADA prepares you to earn the CADC, which is the bachelor's level, or the CAADC master's credential, as I mentioned earlier. This is just in Michigan, so if you're out of state, you should check with your state's credentialing and licensing bodies. Many of our SPADA grads continue their education. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of SPADA students are also completing their MSWs or counseling master's degree, so that's always an option. Additionally, many of our students are also returning back to school to earn a doctorate. If you already have a master's degree or are pursuing a PhD, SPADA fits nicely with those programs of study. Last but not least, there are a few financial aid resources available to students enrolled in SPADA. I was thrilled when we were approved to provide financial aid as a certificate program years ago. The Addiction Studies program at WMU is one of the few graduate certificate programs that's eligible for financial aid. You'll just have to complete the FAFSA to see your eligibility. If your employer is paying your tuition, WMU makes it easy to set up payments. Forms for that process are available at wmich.edu/extended. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Jenifer, and she'll wrap up with some more information about resources and services at WMU.
No matter where you are while taking courses, Western provides you with a variety of services and resources. Of course, if you take the courses on main campus, you have access to all the usual university services and resources. But if you're taking the courses in Grand Rapids, Traverse City, or elsewhere, you still have access to the same services and resources, just in different formats. 3 of our most often asked about and used resources by regional and online students are the library, career services, and the writing center. Library services are available to all students. You can check out books and have them shipped to you at no charge. You have access to all of the peer-reviewed journals in our library network. You can utilize program-specific library guides, and more. Career Services offers a variety of online resources, such as Handshake, which is a job board exclusive to students at Western Michigan University. Career Services can also assist you with polishing up your resume once you've earned your SPADA certificate, and they have a ton of resources for interview preparation. The Writing Center will help you improve your writing skills and offers appointments via phone. The staff will help review your work with you and teach you how to become a better writer. And if you ever do visit the Kalamazoo area, you do have access to everything on campus. You may need to have a Bronco card made before accessing some of them, though, but that's easily done while you're here.
So we appreciate your time today and thank you for joining us. We hope we provided all the information you need about the Addiction Studies program at WMU. We want to open it up for questions at this point. You can use the chat box in the lower right-hand corner of your screen to submit a question.
So our first question is, if I do the program entirely online, will I ever have the chance to meet my fellow classmates?
That's a good question. So if you complete it entirely online, there are opportunities to meet in a way what we call synchronous. We have asynchronous and then synchronous courses. And so most of the time there's interaction with students over discussion posts and whatnot, and then instructors. But you can do synchronous, in which the instructor requires that all the students come online for video. Most of our courses, from my understanding, are asynchronous though, but you will have a chance to meet in a sense, but not obviously face-to-face otherwise.
So our next question is, what is the GPA required for admissions, and are there any other requirements?
So the same requirements for SPADA would be for the graduate college, which the GPA for that I believe is 3. We look for a 3.0 GPA or above. Other requirements would require for the application process some references. We have 3 references as well as an essay. But other than that, as we stated before, we obviously a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't necessarily need to be in a specific field. But we see most of them come in with some behavioral help, usually some degree, social work, psychology, but those are not required.
If my bachelor's is on hold at another institution, would I still be able to apply?
We need to have proof of completion for a bachelor's. So, for example, if it was sent in today and I were to look at it and we wouldn't have the transcript indicating that you have finished it completely, then we wouldn't admit at that point, and so we would need it to actually be a completed degree that we could see through your transcript.
Will I be able to finish the program with 22 credits instead of 24 if I am not doing the 3-credit field practicum?
Okay, so unfortunately, in order to get the SPADA certificate, we need the 24 credit hours. And so with being a dual enrolled student, we would often, the students try to match their internship and practicum at the same time so they double count. You can always take classes as a CECP student, social work student. We have a lot of students that do that to obtain the knowledge, but in order to go forward with the certificate, we need to complete the requirement for the credit hours.
You said it takes roughly 2 semesters to do the internship. Approximately how long will it take me from start to finish to earn the certificate? How long does it take most students?
So we have students that take the certificate and complete it in 12 calendar months. Those are usually the post-bachelor students, the ones that come in and they have their bachelor's degree and they're just looking to tack on the SPADA certificate most often to get the CADC certificate at the bachelor's level. Those are the ones that kind of take on maybe 2 or 3 classes a semester and get through. Typically for CECP, social work, and other students that are dual enrolled, it will take longer. We have some doc students that tack on. They'll be here for 4 or 5 years, and they can take the certificate program at the time that's convenient for them. So I would say on average, it's usually maybe a year to finish the courses, and then the practicum itself, you can complete it in 1 semester, and that can be any semester, but we often see, especially if you're enrolled in summertime, so say you start in summer 1, most of the time you will see students take summer 1 and summer 2 to complete the practicum. But if you're getting, 20 to 30 hours a week, you can take the practicum within 1 semester.
Can the SPADA certificate transfer to other states upon completion?
So when you say transfer, there's the ICRC reciprocation. So the certificate is recognized in regards to having coursework in order to get the certificate. But say you want to get the credential in another state, then those education requirements, your ethical training that you get, that's a requirement for Michigan and other states, would most likely count because there's a reciprocation there. But then at the same time, it would be something to look into by state. But when you say transfer, the certificate is always recognized. It's when you're looking at licensing and credentialing. States differ. So here in Michigan, it's a credential, and in Florida, it's a license. And so the terminology even can be kind of confusing between states. But if you have any other questions about that, you can contact me directly too, and hopefully I can help you navigate through that process because it can be kind of tedious.
Can you take the practicum simultaneously with the courses, or does it have to wait until the very end?
That's a good question, and it's recently changed. But yes, you can take the practicum while you're still taking SPADA courses. The requirement is that you have to at least have 4 of the 7 courses done to get that knowledge, especially if you have no experience in addictions. We want to at least have that foundation before you're out in practicum. But yes, you can take your practicum after taking 4 classes. So really that could be within, a semester or 2.
Do other people in the field know what SPADA means, or is it an acronym coined by Western Michigan University that I will have to explain anytime I interview?
That's a good question. So in the state of Michigan, SPADA has been around since '73, and so people are very familiar with SPADA, the acronym itself. Also, if you say I have the Addiction Studies certificate from Western, people know what that is. In other states, we've been around for a while, and so we are known. And when I do go to conferences, people are aware that we in the state of Michigan have that. So it depends, but most of the time, when I say SPADA, sometimes people will say, "Oh, what does that mean?" And so when I say the Addiction Studies certificate from Western, they say, "Oh, yes, I've heard of that." So we're lucky; we've been around for a while, and we have a lot of our instructors are very influential in the state of Michigan, and so SPADA is well known within Michigan.
If after I complete the SPADA program, I decide I want to earn my Master's of Social Work after, can I use the credits I've already earned from SPADA?
Yes. So we have what we call cross-listed courses, and that's the Recovery-Oriented Systems of Care, the Causes course. A lot of students also take the co-occurring and the family course. And so those will count towards the electives in a master's or doc program. Oftentimes there's a specialization that is required for students, and so we see a lot of our students that are in other programs use those as electives. We had an information session in Grand Rapids last month, and a student wanted to get into social work. And so she came to our table and we were talking, and it was one way in which she could register and be in the graduate college by taking on a few courses with SPADA and then transition into the social work program. So it was a really good way because she had the time, the money, she wanted to go and take the some classes while she was looking into the social work program, knowing that our courses would count for the electives for social work.
That concludes our time today for this session. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us. Our contact information is listed on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to either Dr. Lee or myself with any questions that you might have about SPADA or WMU. Thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful day.